Hello, hello. It is time for another League Start stream, where I am progressing my Righteous Fire Juggernaut. As you may have guessed, given that we're about 24 hours, 24.5 from the very start of a league, this is extremely scuffed day one gear. There's a lot of stuff that's just missing, and that's totally fine. What isn't missing is a really awesome RFMTX. Because, that I had to fix off stream since it was going to take me a while to sort through videos. How's it going, Snow? How has your league start been treating you? There's a map drop. Oh yeah, I just swapped gear. My resists are still... Yeah, my resists are fine. Cool. That's good to know. Oh. Where am I going with my Atlas points again? Yeah, I should probably... grab Shaping the Skies first. It's a better super early pick. And then after all this, I will block off Delirium. Probably keep Blight for now. I'll block Ritual. I'll block Metamorph. That leaves two things to click. Ooh. Freezing in lab. That is not fun. Neither the box kind nor the internet kind. Oh, a Mind Spiral. No one uses Mind Spiral anymore, though, so I don't think it matters. If anyone's wondering, why am I doing this map in particular? The long answer and short answer is Atlas completion. There we go. Dragon Scale Gauntlets. Nothing too interesting there. Shield charging into walls. I don't know. I heard you were doing some very unethical things to innocence with innocence. It's going to be both kinds of RF. Except right now it's very scuffed, so it's, technically neither, but getting there. I'll grab the Thicket Bow, that could be something nice, and I'll grab the Amulet, that could also be something nice. My defenses are going to be so good after I get Uber Lab done. You know, though, I think you could have made friends with innocence. Just in case anyone's using this, I'll put it up for 1C. Those are not new maps, so it's back to Phantasmagoria. I mean, everyone's build is scuffed today. It's just a matter of how scuffed your build is, not if it is. Oh, Basalt Flask. I might actually swap my Ruby Flask for that. Whatever mods. Reduced effective curses. Yeah. It's a fire and ignite resistant. I was like, why isn't it falling over? Oh, I want the essence thing. Cool. And then the rest I don't really care too much about. Oh, I might break out one more enemy there. Yes, I did. Cool. And Rage Contempt, not bad, especially given how popular bows are. Another Opal Scepter, pick that up. Don't really care about the heavy belt. Ghosted Quintuple Essence in ZDPS. Well, if it makes you feel any better, Snow, that's basically what I do as well.
Just in time. Thank the guy.
Which is probably why most of my league starts are so scuffed. But it works out by mid-level 80. You're on your 4th Mage Blood. I definitely believe you. Totally not a thing in Standard. So far, the DPS and defenses on this build have been very comfortable. Crucible mobs, they're pretty tanky. Everything else, no real issues. But also, Crucible mobs just feel very overtuned at the moment.
Just in time. I knew it's time.
Yeah, usually what I do is I have a endgame POB as a reference, or realistically, I don't even do that most of the time. I have an snapshot on PoE Ninja, I guess. And I look at it occasionally for general tree shape. Then for specifics, I go, do I need damage? All right, where's the nearest damage node? Do I need defenses? Where's the nearest defensive node? And I just keep going through that way until I level. Mostly works okay. It's always a little respecking here and there, but nothing too bad. What I don't like is there's a lag time on the button. So you stop channeling and it channels for a little bit longer, but then sometimes you want to keep channeling and it cuts off. It's really weird. The reason I'm picking up all these scepters is to see if there's any fire damage over time, etc. stuff. Oh, these are fractured. I was like, oh my god, sixling! No, they're just fractures. Oh, there we go. No, come back. Don't run out of my dot. Yeah, leveling isn't super fun, but it doesn't take that long, honestly. Whether or not I keep Breach long-term is going to depend on how much the Breach Stones sell for. Right now it's pretty good, though, just as a throw extra monsters into your map thing. Rip. A rare sword. Not a popular base type. If there was a staff, you could probably make it work. Oh, we've got Expedition.
It's my lucky day.
It is apparently not my lucky day, because it's the one Expedition person that I don't really care about. God damn it, why is it Gwenin? Yeah, that's the nice thing about Wave of Conviction. Do this, curse all the enemies. I also got a 6-link, but it wasn't a drop, it was a purchase. You could say I got a 6-link from Heist, since that's how I did it. Realistically, though, didn't have to be from Heist, it was just easy enough to do Heist. RF is very good at not dying, which makes it an ideal build for heisting.
Just in time. Ah, there you are.
At least if you're talking about really early league start heisting, not min-maxed zoom heisting. Ooh. Hello, Map Sustain. Nice to meet you. Well, that solves a lot of my problems. Wait, did I even look at what I'm killing here? Oh well, I don't care. In yellow maps, I mostly just treat Alva and all the other League mechanics as extra monsters in your map. If I get something good from them, awesome. If I get nothing from them at all, whatever. Still extra monsters.
Good job, Exile.
Where do I go next? Definitely here. Now, right now I have my Fire Trap in a pseudo 5-link with a Trap and Mind Damage helmet. And then I have RF in my 6-link. The helmet was very, very cheap, by the way. Oh. Right, I should not curse her and make her damage higher. I always forget that that's a thing on her. No. Okay, let's ID something and probably throw it out. Yep. There we go. Max life, life regen armor. AKA complete trash. Damage over time, fire damage, but for rest is bad. Level is this? This is, oh, that's level 37. All right, I definitely don't need to keep that then. And an absolute dumpster fire of a fracture. Okay, so the white maps can all go away. Castle Ruins. I don't want to do that map again. So instead, I'll do Caldera and then grab some Phantasmagorias if I need more. Oh. I have to ID and scour it. Darn it. I was hoping it was actually already rare. Enfeeble. Okay, so this is going to be a test of am I a ZDPS or not? Let's find out. Am I ZDPS? What's a good league starter for someone who has never played PoE? If you've never played PoE before, the actual build doesn't matter very much. What instead matters is the guide supporting the build. So if you need a good league starter and don't want to have to do everything yourself, make the mistakes, go through a long learning process, a league starter with a good guide. I was going here to get the movement speed if dex below 100. Which I'm not 100% sure if I really want, but it's better than the minion 0.04 crit. I mean, maybe not for an actual minion build, but for me, it's better. Ooh, I don't like how slowly it's going up here. Oh, see, it cut off. I guess it cuts off when it reaches the end. All right, that's not... Oh, I was going to say that's not too bad, but then that thing hit me, and that thing apparently does all the damage. This guy, right? Yeah, that guy that does all the damage. All right, come here, you. No, you're not going to come here? Okay, fine, run away from me. Alright, I got a new crucible thingy. Now I can grab the movement speed or the minion movement speed. Yeah. Also, there's a bunch of League starters over on Max Roll that are designed to hold your hand and help you through the early stages of the game with leveling sections from Tai Killer.
Enemy.
Yes, hello, Maven. Yeah, the Crucible enemies are a bit spooky when you're pushing the top end of your progression. This was a terrible Legion, wow. They really do feel like they have the same health as Pinnacle bosses. It's kind of sad. They certainly have more health than the map bosses. I guarantee you it will not take me as long to kill Maven Witnessed Cowman this map as it did to take me to kill that rare. There's no way. Cemetery? Really good map for its tier. Oh, Lunara's Touch. Does this hurt? A little bit. It's a bad Platinum Chris. You know, maybe I should have grabbed the Gemini Claw. Alrighty, Expedition.
Hurry, there are monsters about.
And it's Rog. Hell yeah. I'm gonna be honest, if I get a Crucible rare with cycling damage reduction, it can just have the map. I am running Righteous Fire Juggernaut, which, if you want a guide for this build, right now, the most in-depth guide available is Pox's. And if my League start works out, so far it is, so there's a very high likelihood of this happening, then I'm going to be writing a guide for this build that will be over on Max Roll. Oh, I was like, why is my health not going up? It's because the enemy was locking me to partial health. Probably don't need to keep picking up wisdom scrolls at this point. The issue is, I'm too lazy to fix my filter. And so I click things that are visible on my filter. I'll probably do that off. Wait, that's new. Was that Storm Secret? Wait a minute. Oh, Soulbound. Oh. I was like, ooh, shiny new item. No, it's straight trash. Yeah, I'll probably do that off stream. So far for a T8 map, the damage, the defenses, the everything feels pretty reliable. Oh, was I standing? I think I was standing in the degen zone there. That's not a good idea, by the way. Don't do that. Well, is this going to be my first Abyssal Depths? Nope, it is not. All right, let's see if this takes more or less time. Oh, it's definitely taking way less time than that rare. I should probably not just stand there. Right, Maven, you are a little bit loud. Kinda sad how easy that is by comparison. Conceptually, a boss should be the scariest thing in the map. In practice, it's gonna be some guy named Dirt Muncher. The Chateau map is new. And I think this is new. Yes, it is new. Maven has no interest. That's totally fine. Having the extra breaches in my map so far has felt pretty nice. Especially with the way they open now. Because if I come over here, there should be a decent number of monsters to kill. And I know someone's going to say, oh yeah, but aren't picking up all the splinters a pain and not that many drop? Yeah, absolutely. This is just about monsters to kill for EXP drops, etc. Oh, that's a thing, Snow. I had a falling out with Metamorph and blocked him a while ago. So he doesn't show up anymore. I haven't actually done that yet, though I'm probably going to. I know there's some enemies over there. They can just live, because I hate going down every little dead end in this map. I'm mostly just doing this for completion. And then killing stuff along the way, because I would feel bad wasting a T7 map at this point. No. I should have known that was a dead end. Then again, this entire map is. Yeah, it would definitely be nice if you could see upcoming stuff as kind of a, hey, stop now. Because it's really hard to tell what the mods are, and sometimes it's not a big deal. Other times it's going to be crippling for your build. Well, unless you play something like this, which is made to just go YOLO and full channel once I get properly geared. Do I want to do this yet? No, not really. What about my shield? Oh, I haven't done any... I'm a little worried because I could make this so much worse by doing this. There are some bad T1 mods for this build. But oh well, this shield wasn't that expensive, and I think even if it's bad for me, like reduced life regeneration rate, should be fine for someone else, so I can always resell it. See what I got. But hell yes, plus 30 to maximum life, no downsides. Never mind, 0 regrets. All right. Now that I've killed the enemies, what's the rest of a tree look like? 80 strength, gain no inherent bonuses. 80 dex, gain no inherent oh! Well, I don't gain any relevant bonuses from dex anyway. Oh, that one's interesting too. You take 30% reduced extra damage from crit strikes, but hits have 100% increased crit strike chance against you. So in theory, enemies can auto-crit you and just do nothing. Then increased armor, evasion, and energy shield. Good. Reduced... Oh, this track's so sick. Nice.
Come on now. Don't go all day.
This mechanic feels interesting. I don't want to make any judgments about it yet, just because it very much feels like a late bloomer that comes into its own as you start interacting with higher item level things. The leveling experience with it was completely underwhelming from the position of a caster. Though, honestly, even if the only point of the leveling experience was make things more on par between casters and melee, I guess that's fine. But there was nothing I was interested in or excited for while leveling in terms of doing it. Ooh. And now, as I'm getting into yellow and red map tier items, it's getting more and more exciting. It's actually getting fun. Which makes me think that Reddit is just going to be super mad right now. If you mean the big purple circle around me, that isn't an aura. That is the Transcendence Righteous Fire effect. And yes, it does look pretty dope. However, Righteous Fire is a skill that constantly burns your health. So if you don't have high recovery and high fire resistance, you cannot put Righteous Fire on. Oh, interesting. I made 0 while leveling because very quickly I was skipping the mechanic. That might have been my loss, I'm not sure. I remembered to not curse the guy that fires a Nova when you curse him. Yeah, I feel like Toxic Rain gets the best of both worlds with that stuff. I should go over here. I'm not fully invested into Breach, and I don't plan to be. I'll drop these nodes eventually. But because I'm right here, the extra... It's 50%, right? Yeah, 50 plus 18. I think that's enough to throw breaches in that I get extra EXP, extra loot, etc. We'll see. Maybe I'll change my mind on that later. But yeah, if you're playing SRS, you do not get to use it. Well, I suppose in theory you could use it. It would just be very, very bad to do so. But don't worry, there's always another build. It does look sick, though. I was looking at all of the different RFMTX. I think it's either this one or the Celestial, but Celestial hides everything on the floor. I like how clear this one is. You know, I don't know the mods for this map. So I should probably not just do this. It's okay, though. We'll do like a half channel. What's selling? Oh, this. Yeah, that makes sense. CIR. CIRF when? CIRF never, because it disables the skill. You'd have to go low life RF. And as for low life RF when, I don't know, low life RF in quiz, probably totally fine. Right, where's my shield? Is it this one? It's definitely this one, right? Yeah, it's this one. Just to check, it is reduced reflected damage taken and increased armor evasion and energy shield. Yes. And I do not care about this track because I don't want to do the gain no inherent... Well, okay, long term I would, because long term I'm going to wear Calms. Either way, I don't care about the mind. In fact, not only do I not care about, I do not want this. So it's this either way. Then it's a matter of, do I gain the 80 dex or save it for later on crit mitigation? Well, that jumped up fast. I'm sure this is fine. Maybe it wasn't fine. Yep, have a good night and good luck in your maps. Yeah, it was fine. I think I'm going to feel way tankier once I get a percent of armor applies to LE damage. That's the thing that I'm pretty sure I'm lacking right now. Ah, cool. Increased armor evasion and energy shield. So now my armor is even higher. Right? I can check that, right? Flammability stuff. Yeah, so nothing should break here. Oh, it's local to the item. Rip. Okay, not quite as good as I was thinking. I guess it makes sense that it's local to the item. I should have realized that it's a shield after all. Yep, thanks. Have a good night. But yeah, not a big deal, because I was going to go through that node regardless. Ooh, ow. Please stop hitting me that hard. I know. Technically my fault. Didn't read map mods. Didn't even ID the map. So this is why I'm playing an RF Jugg, to not do that. Yep, on to Act 9 for you. I do really like having the Fire Mastery for random explodey. Because when it goes off in a breach or something, it's just awesome. These big tanky things, always annoying to kill. I feel like this has some sort of... Wait. Okay, so it's not minus max. But it does feel like it has some sort of rippier damage mods on it from the damage I've been taking. Okay, we'll do this. Oh, no one uses that. Whoa. Stop raining death on me. It definitely doesn't feel rewarding early, and it gets much more rewarding as you progress. As hilarious as the inverse res is, I don't ever see myself using it. Because I feel like I would rather have the consistency of just dealing with or ignoring enemy resistances than have a 25% chance to chunk and a rather mediocre time 75% of the time. Right. These things shouldn't be too bad. These things are not bad at all. Oh no, it's yellow seeds. Please no. I don't like yellow seeds. They have digging things that run away from me, and I'm a very close range build. The digging things. Vivid sapsuckers. Oh no, that one has cycling damage reduction. Please stop rolling the worst possible mods. I'm sure it won't, though. See, there it goes. It finally started taking damage and died almost instantly. So an example of something that I just got, which makes me think the mechanic isn't worth ignoring, is my shield right here. Because I got this. 30 max life is really nice. And then this is just pure upside. And now I can either fix strength or fix dex. And if I fix strength, I can get functional crit immunity, but I would only want to spec into that when I am at the point of functional crit immunity. As for Toxic Rain, I feel like there's a lot of really good bonuses for Toxic Rain on bows. And the best thing to do is to get as many as possible and just cook them once, reveal the tree, and toss them if they're not good. Yeah, extra exposure is really good. Yes, CF Champion is still a good league starter, or at the very least, it's as good as it was before. Whether it's good in terms of your own definition depends on what content you're doing. It's certainly a good league starter if you want to do a lot of mapping. Now, if you want to go fight a bunch of essences, other super tanky content, not really the best. If you want to be a bosser, absolutely terrible league starter. If you want to do mapping, do legions, that kind of stuff, go for it. Yeah, they feel very overtuned. Okay, any good? No. I don't even need to ID that. Couldn't have picked it up, to be honest. How many instilling orbs am I up to now? 6. So I can automate 1 flask, but I don't have any flasks that are good enough that I want to use the instilling on them. I want to get to like a eye level 80, 82 flask or something with sweet rolls. I'm just going to do 3 Phantasmagorias. Wait, no. I have a Kirak mission. I can do that. Moon Temple I've already done. Shipyard I haven't. Wasteland. Ooh. Well, that's a T9. Or an Obas. I'm sure Obas will be fine. Hey, Helix is good. Helix is still totally fine. Right, this is the first T9 map I'm doing, so we'll see where my damage is at. I don't think it'll be bad in here, though. Maybe if I get the worst fire-resistant rare. But as long as I don't get that, I'm sure it's okay. Yeah, because even that's a fire-resistant rare, and it really didn't last all that long. Ooh. That hurt a little bit. I guess I was standing in Chaos Ground, though. I feel like the League mechanic is pretty hostile towards a lot of builds until you get upgrades. Not just Toxic Rain. Because I'm feeling it too, where in a tier 4 or 5 map, the League mechanic still hurts, and enemies take a while. And that should not be with the kill speed that I have and the defenses that I have in this tier 9 map, with enemy damage mods. Ooh. That happened. So I guess I have a little bit of a bigger budget now, and I should probably go upgrade my gear. Okay, yeah, that's the... No, wait, I left something alive here. Come here. No, 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 you're not resurrecting your friends, Vile Crush, if that's your real name. Okay. Well, I would say doing the Obas has absolutely paid off, seeing as I got a Divine Orb from it. And no, I don't mean that in the worth because I said so kind of way. I mean in the, it legitimately actually paid off. And this kind of goes back to something that I always tell people. Doing content means making profit. If you do 2 tier 16 maps an hour, because tier 16 maps are just super painful at your current gearing level and everything's awful and you hate life, that is way worse than doing tier 1 maps. Tier 1 maps that you can actually clear in an efficient manner will be better than tier 16s that you cannot, just because of things like that random divine that just happened to drop. I get this for magic and rare monsters. Legacy of Fury Wormscale boots. They are 3 to 4 divines. Oh, there's a shiny one for sale. 2 shiny ones for sale. The shiny ones look kind of neat. Not going to pay 3 to 4 divines for those, mostly because I don't have 3 to 4 divines. Even if I did, wouldn't pay 3 to 4 divines for them. I'd wait a couple days. They're going to come down.
Godslayer, good day.
Okay. And now I go over to Kirak. Oops, purchase items. Let's see what I haven't done, starting from the bottom. So that's Belfry, Primordial Pool, Waste Pool. I'd rather not spend Alks. Looks like I'm going to spend some Alks.
Stay vigilant.
I'm good on Primeval Hideout. Do I... Nah, these are all already alked or whatever. Okay, so let's just run through these first. Do I want to put Beasts or something on it? Nah, I'm going to put Veiled on it. don't worry, in 20 years, Starlink will be exclusively designed to give you the best possible signal from Mars, which will help exactly one person.
At last, a chance to drive a sword through that Miranda's skull.
Come here, Giannis.
Wait. Let me think.
No, I'm not going to let you do anything,
A
Giannis.
man of state.
Sure.
I'm going to kill you, Giannis. Just not you.
No, Tane's here.
My death was quick.
The
My
little
new
general.
god.
Gets no easy, does it? Go on.
Ashling,
Death holds no.
Vicious, please give me your veil. I really want your veil. Ooh. That's a good card to get this early. Strongbox, sure. Hey, yeah, it's going really well so far. I'm overall in yellow maps, though right now I've gone back to just clear some whites. Got to keep that Atlas progression up, so every time I do a Kirak mission, I just go back, do a couple white maps, repeat. Oh, it's a 3 dragons.
Logistics is boring. What? I guess. Consider
Go.
and consider the challenge begun.
That's Jorgen bullied. As he should be for always picking fights. Vol side area. Do I care enough about a Vol side area? I don't know. I probably should if it doesn't have bad mods. Ellie weak. My resistance is good enough for that. My resistances are fine for that. Sure. Because I could get a 6-link here, and I'm sure people still buy them. Yeah, if it's your only option, that's rough. Oh, there comes a point when these corrupted 6-links just aren't good enough for people to buy anymore, because there's too much access to uncorrupted 6-links. The League always reaches a critical mass point where corrupted 6-links become effectively unsellable. Depends on the league. Ironically, in Scourge it was, but most leagues, no, it's not. Sometimes it's really hard for me at league start, though, to keep track of how many days into the league it actually is. Because between streaming and making videos, I very much lose track of time. Like, oh, I've spent way too long doing this. Yeah, in terms of something like Path of Exile, I'm very glad it doesn't have an offline mode, because an offline mode would essentially be how to make more efficient cheats. That said, there's plenty of games that are online only or require internet connectivity that absolutely shouldn't. That should just be an offline game. In fact, having an offline mode is one of my big concerns in regards to the long-term sustainability of Last Epoch as a live service. Though, since it's a paid product rather than a free product, hopefully it's not as big of a deal. Then again, if you're making cheats for a game, you're probably not afraid of things like laws either, so I don't know. Oh, a heartbreaker. Wait, that's a heartbreaker. That doesn't really matter. Like, compared to a rare, look at how little damage this thing does. Oh, prismatic catalyst. That's not bad.
Come, do you see? May the darkness spare you.
Now I'm out of here. Worm sign. I bet if I hit something good here, instantly destroys the item. Nice.
Blessings.
Fire damage over time multiplier. +1 to level of socketed gems. Kinda not terrible. Not good, though. Should have grabbed totem placement speed there. Fire and yes. Absolutely grab the hybrid res. Well, focused.
Warm
That's all the veiled stuff. Oh, wasn't. Never mind. Missed something.
Salah.
Yeah.
Salah.
And I know companies argue, well, it's to protect against piracy. But I don't know how much it actually does to protect against piracy relative to locking legitimate players out. That is not something... Maybe I'd sit down and speak with a big game dev and have my opinion completely changed. But as it is right now, I am not convinced that it actually has enough of a tangible effect. And it instead feels like something that Denuvo or whoever pitched to CEOs and is like, no, this is really good. Trust us. Also give us lots of money for our junk product. Cool. I am selling my old wand, which was not very good, but apparently good enough to be worth 15C. Okay, I guess it wasn't that bad, to be honest. Do I want to do this? Oh, no, that's complete garbage. Never mind. No, I want to cook the shield more, right? Yeah, I definitely want to cook the shield more. I'm going to go for the dex. Yeah. It really does, to me, feel like a Denuvo or whoever is just selling companies on this nonsense to make a place in the world for their own product. Should probably go delve. Early on, it's all about maximizing the resources you have available. Also, this is a low-level map, so I shouldn't worry too much about min-maxing stuff. Ooh, Kirak mission, hell yes. That means more maps to purchase. And I do understand some games being always online. Path of Exile is a perfect example of this. PoE is set up as an always online game. But it also feels like way too many games these days are being made always online, I don't know, for the sake of it, for really annoying and pointless things. In some cases, outright detrimental. If you linked something, Thorstein, yes, you did get bamboozled by YouTube. It ate your link. Yeah, and the reason that Path of Exile has to be online only is for the integrity of the economy. That no matter what you do, if you allow files to exist on people's machines, they will find a way to modify them. Therefore, you have to have an online-only server authoritative setup. Which is why I say, PoE, it makes sense. But something like what came out recently, the upcoming Assassin's Creed game will probably require online only.
Always love a good risk.
It doesn't need to be. Like, you should be able to just play Assassin's Creed Mirage offline, zero internet connection.
Ooh, I always
What do
love
I gain from internet connection for Assassin's Creed Mirage? Oh, you should put that in my Discord. I would love to read that study later. But yes, unfortunately, YouTube does very much like eating all sorts of links because it is super suspicious of them. Why it does that? I don't know. Ooh, you failed Merklab twice. That is rough. I think that GGG would do their best to make PoE available if they stop supporting it. Whether or not they'd be able to make it available offline or not, I'm going to be honest, I don't know. I'm not a network engineer. I don't know if it's as simple as hitting a switch and going, all right, you're good. Or if it's way more complicated than that, and it just wouldn't be possible. They'll definitely make a good effort, though. And if it is possible, yeah, they'll do it.
not today.
Yeah, niche games in particular are at way more risk these days. Even just look at, I forget what his name was, but the guy that spent $20,000 to purchase and save all of the Nintendo games. It's insane to me that a company as big as Nintendo is doing something like that, and they get saved because of a YouTuber. Like, come on, Nintendo. You should be doing that. This is your history. This is your legacy. This is why people love the things that you do. What are you doing? Yes, the completionist, thank you. They are very aggressive on IP protection. But apparently not on IP preservation and making sure that people can play their games 30 years from now. Part of the reason Nintendo is so aggressive is a difference in laws. Part of it is just a company culture. In terms of a difference in laws, in the United States, there's what's called the fair use doctrine, which allows you to use certain types of copyright protected content if it's in a fair use setting. In Japan, there is no such fair use exception. And so as far as Japanese law is concerned, Nintendo is well within their rights to go after anyone using any of their IP without permission. It's absolutely not the right way to handle it, and I'd certainly hope that over time they will learn, hey, this hurts you more than it helps you, but they're absolutely legally within their rights to do it, which sucks. I have heard that Monster Energy goes after absurd stuff, and I hope they get absolutely destroyed in court. I hope they get destroyed to the point where they are no longer allowed to defend their trademark because it is ruled that their trademark is already common use. Oh. Okay, I channeled too long here. Nope, nope, nope. Those bleeds are terrible. Oh my god, go away. I just want to portal out. It's certainly arguable that sitting down and playing a game from start to finish is difficult to defend as fair use. I agree. However, if that was all Nintendo went after, I think there would be a better argument for, all right, they have some reasonable basis for doing this. Except they also go after plenty of other things and have no reasonable basis for it. Like when people were emulating Nintendo games that they had legally purchased on the Steam Deck, and Nintendo went after them for it. It's like, Nintendo, you can't do that. They legally purchased them. Have I mentioned that these are very overtuned enemies? Though something else to keep in mind, even legal fair use or not aside, if someone sits down and plays a game for 60 hours on stream, assuming that they're actually interacting with the stream, entertaining people, etc., I guarantee you that that adds more sales than it takes away for the company. Because sure, some people who watch that stream are never going to buy the game. They probably weren't going to buy it anyway. And there are plenty more people who go, oh yeah, that was a really fun time. I want to play through this game now. Like, look at the difference. The Crucible enemies were wrecking me. This guy, I'm just like, oh, you can't really damage me. Okay. I don't have any hard numbers to back that up. I just have my own personal experience playing games, talking to people. I have a Nexus store, which means that people can buy a game with my link and directly support me. Well, one thing I've noticed is when I play a game that's in my Nexus store and I talk about it, there's a decent spike in sales for that game. Even if I'm not directly recommending it, even if I'm just playing it. Because, well, I'm having fun with it, and people see me having fun, and they realize, oh yeah, that is a cool game that I might want to play. So companies should do more to embrace that. I know a while back there was a discussion of, oh, streamers should have to buy a license to stream games. No, no, no. You as the company should be not only giving streamers a license, but honestly, you should be giving out as many copies of that to streamers as you can. Because if there's a chance that a streamer only tries your game because they got it for free, that is advertising that you wouldn't have gotten even if they're quite small. And for anyone who's larger than quite small, you should be paying them to stream your game. Because again, you will get more returns on that. Even if you are just a fully self-interested company, it is in your best interest to do this. Oh, ow. Wow. Okay. I actually died there. I wasn't paying attention at all. What are the mods again? Possessed. Fizz is extra cold. It's not honestly even that bad. I think I was just standing in a bunch of bad stuff instead of dodging. Yeah, even advertising through a large content creator is going to be a lot cheaper than many other sources companies do. Yes, ghosted bosses definitely still hurt. Can confirm. I need more armor. When I get more armor, it'll be fine.
You shall be remained.
There we go. See? Not a big deal. I don't really want to do Mirrors of Delirium with this build. Oh, I'm glad your finger's feeling better. Wow, I don't even know why I picked that junk up. Do the T6 first. Wait. Can be applied to breach stones. Rare monsters drop 2 additional reward types. Area has 2 random modifiers. Huh. Interesting. I totally forgot that those are the kind of neat things you get from the thing I'm putting on. Oh, a dread. And no, I don't mean the one in chat. See, how is it that this essence monster is nothing, but if I channel a little bit, the crucible thing is actually terrifying? Oh, right, I got the dex. That means I can drop dex. Yes. I don't think I can drop int, though, can I? So that means I can't drop this node just yet. Wait, can I drop int? No, no, I cannot. Getting there, though. Uh, 141 to 153. Yeah. Essences don't scare me, but that thing does. I think for breaches, I need just a little teensy bit more damage. Especially as they open and close faster. Yeah, I haven't played PoE on a console. I've heard a lot of horror stories, though. With the newest generation of PlayStation and Xbox, I've heard it's better. That said, PoE is not the most optimized game. And even on a lot of PCs, it doesn't run this well. You need a, unfortunately, pretty high-end PC to run it really, really smoothly. Though, if you play around with settings a bunch, you can get it to run on even a fairly old machine passably. There's just certain things that will absolutely cause you massive lag spikes, like causing the entire screen to explode. Which, okay, maybe that's just because players have too many tools to cause the entire screen to explode. I love doing narrow maps like this as RF. It's like the enemies can't run away from me in here. They just burn. It's great. Yeah, bloom effects are another one that, if you don't have a fairly high-end computer, will absolutely kill you. If it was expensive 10 years ago, I could still see that fitting into the high enough end to run PoE pretty well. Although I would imagine you run into issues with certain things.
You sure about that placement?
Hey, that's a spine bow. I should definitely pick that up. There's tons of lightning arrow, ice shot, and tornado shot players right now. For example, the lighting effects in Delve make it much, much harder. Wait, is that a Beano's? The lighting effects in Delve make it much, much harder to run than much of the rest of the game. And so many people will be completely fine everywhere else and then run into frame drops in Delve. If you have a 10-year-old PC that was liquid cooled, I would say you're definitely in the bracket of high-end enough to overcome a lot of these things. So if I go here, that saves me a few points. And I can start going down to crystal lattice and stuff. And then come up to, over here and here. Or I could come up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, which I kind of need to do anyway, because I kind of want to go up to power struggle. You know, I don't know if breaches going faster is good anymore. Oh, these are all hand stuff. Ew. I need to get up here to get Heart of the Grove, Buried Knowledge, and Amplified Energies. So from here it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So same, but I get these incursion nodes. Well, technically 1 more point. It costs 1 for this. But it gets me closer to this. Whereas if I go here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But I'd need to get up here. Oh, wait, I need to come over here anyway, though. Right. That's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up here we go. And then we'll gateway over to here and grab this stuff, then fill out the expedition wheel. Yes, the PoE Atlas now does, it's a might play. It does have 3 dimensions, and you have to play 3D chess. Soon we'll have 4D chess. They're going to add some sort of masteries, and you're going to have to play 4D chess with your Atlas. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, because I'm a content creator, I have a fairly high-end PC, and luckily that means most games run well. Oh, nice. So you get 5% extra life for non-Pathfinders, because Pathfinders get 100%, because they have a node for that now, which is just amazing. People are very much sleeping on that node. Even with as much attention as it's getting, people are still sleeping on it compared to its potential. If you run PoE on that laptop, it's poor CPU. Its CPU is going to be crying. Artisan Strongbox. I think I'm fine to stand in all those. I was definitely fine. This way I can get harvest stuff a little bit later. I'm not too worried about harvest until higher tier maps. I am currently running Balor Mage's something filter. Realistically, I should swap to my own, because this one shows way too much. Unfortunately, because stuff changed, mine broke. And I haven't updated it yet. I'll probably do that later. I honestly wish I could find someone that made a loot filter close enough to what I want long term that I never have to make my own again and it would always just be updated. Unfortunately, I'm rather picky when it comes to loot filters, and so I have yet to find that. Because how I approach itemization in PoE and picking up items is very different from how most people set their filters up. And I've never quite liked how the usual filter is set up. Even this one, I only ever use Balor's filters for a couple days on League Start. Not because they're bad, they're excellent, but because they set loot up in a way that I dislike. I like seeing color coding to determine not what content it comes from, but if I should even care about it. And too many filters color code by what it comes from. It's like, breach is purple, so you make the breach loot purple. No, make the loot that I care about one color and the loot I don't care about another color. Can I? And it'll automatically unhide items and stuff? Because if I could have it auto-update and automatically unhide items at league start to adjust for the economy, I would absolutely do that. Oh, that's global crit multi. I was kind of hoping it was damage over time multi. Spell damage, burning damage. Meh. Alright, solve that. And now I'm gonna... yeah, that's the thing. I don't like playing around with all of the levels of manual nonsense you have to do to make a proper league start filter. So I usually just hit the update button on my own and swap over when I'm in red maps, when I don't have to worry about hiding most common stuff. That's the part that I want to get around. Yeah, I've never found one that quite does what I want. The closest that I get is some of the people who use the WoW filter setup, since the default for that is kind of coloring things based on value rather than coloring things based on content. I have no idea if they'll let you manage them from the game UI or not in the future. But as for improving how they work, in what way? What about current loot filters need improvement? Because right now, I would say loot filters honestly work really, really well. Once they're set up. Or did you just mean the setup part? Wait, why am I wasting time killing enemies? This is a low tier map. Oh yeah, if that's what you meant, I would love to see something to make it easier to set up and tweak on the fly. I know a while ago someone made a third-party tool for that, and everyone was really excited for like 10 days, and then it was completely forgotten about. Also, what just dinged? A really sick item that I cannot afford and is also not worth buying. That's unfortunate. It's okay, though. I don't need that specific item. So when thinking about loot filters in PoE, you have to look at it from a slightly different lens than game design being good or bad from your game's outset. Because PoE had been around for years before there was any sort of real loot filter support. So it's always been something that was added onto. Ooh, Shadows and Dust with elemental weakness on hit. All right. Let's hold that thought for just a second. Well, there's 1 for 1.5 div. Sure, I'll undercut them. I don't know if it'll sell for that much, but if it does, hell yes. So to say something isn't good game design implies that it was in fact designed to be that way. Whereas loot filters came about by accident. Players were doing it anyway, and GGG added more support for it. And when it comes to that, every dev has a limited number of hours in the day that they can work on stuff. So the question becomes, do you improve loot filters or do you do something else? What's going to have the bigger impact? And I would guess, due to how widespread Neversink's default filters are, the answer is you do something else. Something else will have a more meaningful impact. That said, they did hire OpenARL or OpenARL, the original designer of POB. And as I remember, he's a UI specialist. So I'm hoping for PoE 2, they do plan to change it, because that's the time when big sweeping changes like that can have an impact. In terms of the whole, should people use third-party tools for PoE or not, though? Undoubtedly, the answer is yes. And there's a really good video by Dan Olson called "It's Rude to Suck at World of Warcraft," which goes into why. Because these tools have existed for PoE for so long that the game design has been changed by their existence. They're included in the design. And it's going to be very hard to undo that, to work around it, or to rework it. So instead it becomes pick the most pressing problems and apply the design there, and then integrate things where it's not a pressing problem. A good example of this is just using Neversink's excellent filters on console. Because if you're a new player, you don't need too much customization. I'm sure you don't need anything beyond what Neversink has. Sure, you can get, you know, the anime loot filter, where it's your favorite waifu telling you how awesome you are every time you drop a chaos orb. Some people enjoy that. Other people consider that hell. And that does exist if you hate yourself. But I would say loot filters as a whole, I would certainly like to see them easier to swap in-game and more integrated in PoE 2. If they aren't, though, I'm not going to lose sleep over it because I don't think it's significantly harming the PoE experience. And as for trade, that one is a bit of a minefield. Because there are very strong arguments to be made that many of the things that make trade unpopular, quote-unquote, are necessary. And you only see that if you play thousands of hours of other games that don't have those safeguards. No, Dave. The way to describe that is, some people have trash taste. Hopefully someone will get that joke. Yeah, trade is a hard one, because I would not want GGG to change trade in such a way that removes guardrails, which currently keeps the economy functioning, which seems to be a lot of the stuff that people are asking for. If GGG did everything that Reddit asks for on trade, within a week, all of the Reddit threads that say trade sucks, it's too difficult, would change to trade sucks, items are too expensive. Yeah, it's a difficult balancing act. They are doing adjustments. For example, oh, god damn it. These things are really overtuned. This is not a high tier map. They should not be hitting that hard. So, for example, changing the stack size of Chaos from 10 to 20 makes trading a little easier. It's a small incremental change. Switching Divine Orbs and Exalted Orbs improved the economy, and it's a small change. So I'm hoping GGG keeps making small improvements over time and doing it incrementally so that stuff doesn't just explode. So how do you make a TFT that's controlled by GGG in a player-run economy? Also, I thought if you died, you were supposed to lose your Crucible stuff. Apparently not. Oh. Those are some interesting things. Hey, Crucible is going quite well. Yeah, I thought in the Q&A, though, there was a discussion about how you would if you died. Maybe I'm remembering wrong, though, because clearly it does not work that way. Now, I think GGG would be open to listening to well-reasoned solutions. They might not implement it, but they'll definitely listen to feedback. The issue is when what they get as feedback is just angry screeching on the internet. It's kind of like when I get angry screeching in my comment section. I don't listen to it at all. Why would I? It's incoherent rambling. Now, in terms of making something to replace TFT, the issue becomes actually running that. Because TFT takes a lot of work to keep the trust system in place and keep things going. Ooh, this is a really interesting axe. So, for example, would GGG be hiring people to just manage the Discord? If they're hiring people to just manage the Discord, okay, then it's run by GGG. If they're not, it's community volunteers, which then isn't that different from TFT. And the question at that point becomes, would that be an improvement? Would there be a reason to use the server owned by GGG that is run by community volunteers, where GGG is essentially hands-off by necessity, because there's, you know, very few of them and very many people who play PoE? Or would that mean there's inefficiencies and, unlike TFT's service, it's a lot harder to do stuff? I'm not saying for sure that it would be harder or that those inefficiencies would exist. It may kill any rumors that TFT is an RMT cabal. But what if there are rumors that get started because some of the volunteers are very wealthy, that they are an RMT cabal? Does GGG do something about that? Do they just ignore it? What if the rumors turn out to be baseless? Because I guarantee you, if there was an official anything, people would absolutely start talking about how, oh, it's just another RMT cabal because all of these people at the top have mirror services. Honestly, I don't know enough to say if there is or isn't RMT and TFT. What I do know is it's really easy to make a Reddit thread after you get banned for scamming saying there is. And innately, you can't trust a random person on the internet who could easily have an agenda and take them at their word. You have to do independent research, which is time consuming. You know, I bet I know what I could add on instead of leveling up vitality more. And at the end of the day, what TFT does behind the scenes does not affect a majority of players who use it in any way. If you're just going in there to bulk sell or to get a boss carry or to do some 5-ways, it ultimately doesn't matter. But like with a lot of unresolved problems in PoE, there aren't any easy answers. Because if there were easy answers, I guarantee you they'd be done already. GGG would have said, oh yeah, that's a really easy fix. Doesn't mean the problems are completely unsolvable either. It just means it would take significant time and effort. And I don't think that they want to dedicate resources to solving these things when they could instead be making the game better in a way that benefits more players or benefits players more. Or at least the hope is that it benefits players more, because sometimes things miss the mark. And that's just an aspect of game dev that you have to kind of accept. My own personal stance on that is, if GGG misses the mark badly enough, I'm not going to play the league. But I'd still rather they try, because it's led to some really enjoyable things that I'm sure if they were afraid to go outside the box, they wouldn't have made. I mean, look at Crucible. Crucible weapons are a very outside-of-the-box risky thing GGG's doing. It's massive power creep on a scale we haven't seen since Harvest. I'm glad they're trying stuff. Are the monsters overtuned? Yeah, they're definitely overtuned. In terms of buying and selling in bulk, that's something, if you're talking about a bunch of the same item, you've been able to do that forever via the official trade site. It's really easy to do. You just do tilde price and then price whatever you're buying or selling. And the trade site also explains that. So I'm not sure what GGG could do in terms of bulk selling the same item. I mean, how is it not intuitive, though? It's directly explained. Sure, that doesn't help if you're trying to sell an entire tab of essences. But if you're trying to just sell, you know, one type of essence, it's honestly really easy. I got a really nice shield for this build. It fixes my dex, and it gives me 30 to max life. What just got posted? A one divine talisman. There's no way I pay one divine for that talisman, right? Retribution, fire skill, all skill, intelligence. Ugh. Tempted. It's honestly not a bad price. Nah, I'll wait. I can get something better over time. The talisman of a socket, unfortunately. I'm going to be honest, it never felt unclear to me what I was supposed to be putting in. The website explained it very, very well. I could see for people whose first language isn't English, where it would be a lot harder. Because a lot of things in PoE do kind of rely on your ability to understand nuances within the English language. Or, for example, how English uses mathematics and fractions. Because I believe in other languages, fractions are written out differently. Obviously, it depends. Some languages are written the same. This is a very broad statement. But in that case, I can understand it more. Ooh, all fizz. But I still don't know what GGG can do to improve it. I don't know, maybe add a video? I guess add a video. That's all I can really think of that would potentially help with that. Then, even then, I don't know. I know a video would probably help. Though you can also probably find a similar video on YouTube. Don't think this weapon's any good. But +1 to fizz is neat. And so I'm going to... Do I cook it? I guess I might as well if it... Nah, I just put it up for sit. I'm not cooking anything else. Oh, very indecisively. Yeah, exactly. You can copy and paste the example. So even if you don't know how it works, it shouldn't be hard to get a functional version up and running. That one, Dave, is terrible. Yes, we are cooking weapons and shields now. So, Klon, that's why I said if you understand how fractions are written in English, it makes perfect sense. Because that's all it is. It's just a fraction. You're, selling alks for 1/10 of a chaos, just as a random example. I can already tell that the channel here is going to be rough. Allowing decimals would actually be less intuitive. Because if you go back to fractions, decimals aren't allowed in fractional notation. You wouldn't say 3.5 over 5. You'd say 7 over 10. While potentially inconvenient, that's basic math, though. Anyone over the age of like 12 in the US should know that. I think it's perfectly fine to rely on basic mathematical functions that are taught in school and everyone should know. All right, do I do this? Oh, right, I didn't. Oh, that's annoying. I can't quite see the thing. All right, let's see if I regret this. Oh, the speed is going up, or not. I'm definitely gonna... Sure. Oh, that's a boss, isn't it? Yep. Those bleeds. I mean, I would assume that fractions are also quite common in New Zealand, given that it is a New Zealand company. I don't know what this boss is doing. It's like a dancing spider or something. It's burning to death pretty nicely, though. Who wants cooked spider? Ooh, thank you. I don't know how many there are. That was the first boss I fought. Let's see if this is good now. That's not useful. That's also not useful. I guess this one's kind of useful. Imagine if it was just Chris trolling, where he's like, the American fraction system is really confusing. Let's use that instead. There's no way Bex would allow him to do that. It is literally her job to tell him no for things like that. But no, I think it's based off of the fraction system. The thing is, Klon, that's not bad game design. That's not bad game design at all. Using something based in a scientific system is perfectly valid game design.
Protect.
It's just like how if you talk about a half of something, sure, sometimes it's 0.5. But when you say 1/2 of a thing, you always know what the 1 is and what the 2 is in that measurement. And I might as well do the metamorph here. What league mechanics am I speccing? Pretty random ones, to be honest. Right now, I have a mix of a bunch of random stuff. I will fix my tree later. I'm definitely keeping Expedition. That's all I know for sure. Also, I need to sell this Tabula immediately, because it's just going to go down in price. I'm going to hold on to the spine bow in case I need something to cook. Leftmost. $24. Perfect. Easy money. Yes, Tabula is popular. As for my favorite league, Expedition. And Klon, the reason it doesn't do that is for the same reason that it doesn't tell you that the first of a month is the start of a month. It's just something that it is assumed in general in life that people know, since it's based off of the mathematical principle of fractions. I paid like 8 chaos for mine, and then another 4 chaos to essence it once. I did not pay very much for this, because it's kind of garbage. It's really low item level and a base that most people don't care about. But it was a base that worked really well for my colors, so I was A-okay with it. So here's the thing. Even if I raised the price on the Tabula, let's say I sold it for 26 chaos. I got 2 extra chaos. It would take more time to sell, and it's 2 chaos. It does not matter. What's my next upgrade? That kind of depends on what happens as I get into red maps. If I feel like I need more damage or if I feel like I need more defenses. Because if I need more damage, then it's probably going to be 21 gems. If I feel like I need more defenses, it's going to be better gloves and boots. Then if I need damage, some other things to consider are Legacy of Fury, defensively Brass Dome. Most likely those will both be overinflated because we're too early in the league and not worth purchasing. Even if I have the money to just buy a Brass Dome, there's a good chance that later it will be far, far more economical, and or I can buy a Corrupted one that's even better. I kind of want to get a boss again. I wonder if I could just hold down the channel and get a boss. I guess if you have that luck, Lupus, you do not need to 6-link. Certain ones can appear Hawkblade. We'll see. Maybe it'll show up on this example here. Wait. Hello? Oh. That was terrifying. No. You know what? These are being annoying. Where are some enemies to kill and fill my flasks up on? Yes, they are back, and better than ever. Let's also do the really easy Essence Mob. You know what's sad? This Essence Mob is legitimately not even moving my health. And Essence Mobs are supposed to be the super spooky thing. Ow. Oh, I don't like that it has Burning Ground on Death. That scares me. Something else that scares me is, will I even have the damage to kill these stupid burrowing enemies in a reasonable amount of time? No? Okay. You know what? They just get to live. Yeah. It honestly just seems better to skip the mechanic a lot of the time until your build can actually handle channeling to the max. Because the last one was totally fine, and then that one was completely absurd. I have several strategies which are often very effective at league start. However, they are not things that most people want to do. For example, once I get into early red maps, I will spend quite a bit of time using my alterations and flask crafting. It is very easy to hit usable things on flasks, especially something like a Quicksilver base or a Granite base that sees a wide range of uses across many different builds. I also spend a lot of time doing ROG. And as for the rest, it's often about utilizing the resources available to you. So if you have a bunch of beast missions, you should do beast missions. That goes over there. Probably not going to full channel in tier 9s anymore. Let's see. I'm going to start with a noble quest. I don't think it's really an issue, Dave. There's plenty of ways to deal with chaos damage. And we got even more tools to deal with it. Now that we have... Wait, why am I hitting G? This. 10% of physical damage from hits taken as chaos damage? Or... Wait. Oh my god. I've been making myself squishier. I can't believe I clicked the wrong thing. I meant to click this one. 10% of armor also applies to chaos damage taken from hits. God damn it. I've been taking more damage than intended this entire time. Because my chaos res isn't good and I'm using armor to bolster it. But no, you just have to pay attention to chaos res. Any tips to convince someone to follow a guide when starting PoE? No, because I don't particularly think most people should follow a guide when starting PoE. I think for your first character, you should just dive in and make some mistakes. You will learn so much about the game by doing that. Obviously, go in knowing that you're probably going to fail. But as long as you're prepared for that, absolutely just dive in and play blind. Yeah, if you're not near that, then you have to do something like wear a flask, which if you're a ranger, it's really easy to incorporate a couple of flask nodes now. TLDR, yes, chaos res is important. And yes, it means you have to pay attention to it on gear. I think that's honestly fine. Yeah, it 100% depends on the kind of player. But if it's someone who really stubbornly wants to do their own thing and is okay with failure being an option or even a likelihood, I really don't think you should convince them to start with a guide. I know if someone had sat down and told me, hey, the only way you can play PoE is with a guide, I probably would not have played it. I very much prefer to go in and make my own mistakes. And I know that there's going to be consequences to that. I'm going to do stuff wrong. I'm going to fail. And when that happens, all right. I really didn't notice the loss of the wand recipes, to be honest with you, because very quickly I got items that had decent flat damage rolls, which put my power level equal to or better than what it was before. Poison, not concoction, or claw-based. For claw-based, Venom Gyre. And for poison, Poison Doom Blast. Yeah, as long as someone is okay with failure being a possibility, I think it's totally fine. Now, if they are not okay with failure being a possibility, then you should say, well, if you really don't want to fail, you need to follow a guide. Because yeah, if you want to pick up PoE and you don't want to fail, that's when you need a guide. I wonder if I can get spell suppression into this build. That would be neat. It's probably overly ambitious.
Enemy.
Do I have an alk on me? I do. Ooh, stream of monsters. More EXP and loot? Let's go. All right, maybe not loot, but more EXP at least. And right now, EXP is super good. I'm at that point where, for the content I'm doing, improving my gear will not notably improve all that much, to be honest. But leveling up just a few more times would be really clutch. Yeah, and it can often be difficult to strike that balance. So many people are going to get caught by that. And yeah, I completely agree, Richard. I always prefer to do stuff myself until I hit a wall. When I hit that wall, I'm totally fine with swapping over, following a guide, looking stuff up. I mean, hell, when I was playing D2, that's exactly what I did. Because I knew I was going to hit a wall very quickly, and I didn't want to put the time into really learning the game. But for a lot of other games, I don't do that. Oh, what is my level? 80-something. 86. Almost 87. And how to make Wave of Conviction Elementalist really tanky? I suggest taking a look at my Wave of Conviction Ignite Elementalist build from last league. Obviously, there are levels to tankiness in PoE. If you're talking about tanking Maven Brain Blast, the answer ultimately is you don't. If you're talking about anything outside of Crucible content, that build, really, really tanky. And Crucible's so overtuned right now that it... I mean, I'm on an RF Jugg. I'm on the epitome of a tanky build, and I still feel squishy sometimes. That's how overtuned Crucible content is. Yeah, that's fair. It's not like you won't fail at all. You just won't fail as much. The way I see things like Crucible, Dave, is it's an experiment with a system. It might not come back in the same way. It might not come back on the same items. It's just an idea of, okay, other games have things like this. How would that look in Path of Exile, and can it add value to the experience? I'm all for GGG testing stuff and doing experiments. Yeah, I'll be honest, it's sometimes a little bit hard for me to talk about, especially the wall, because it didn't really exist in the same way when I first started PoE. I first started PoE at the very end, or I guess it would be the very beginning of the open beta, the very end of a closed beta. And it wasn't that you hit a wall at that time. You started at the wall. And it got easier as you played rather than harder. That even things very early on were incredibly brutal. Honestly, much like Diablo 2. Which makes sense, because PoE started as Chris and Rory. I think it was Rory? Chris and a few others basically saying, D2 was a good game, but there hasn't been a new D2 for ages. Let's just make it. Jonathan, yes. Thank you, Dave. See, that's the difference between me and a YouTube video where I have all the time to research and look stuff up, and me on stream where I just say stuff. I sound so dumb on stream in comparison to my YouTube videos. I'm surprised anyone actually watches the streams. Yeah, PoE Beta, very different game. That is when I learned Path of Exile. I think mine turns 10 in just a couple months. I think mine was June 2013. We're gonna need 10 and 15 year MTX soon. The other thing is, people come into games these days with very different expectations than people came into PoE when it came out. In some ways, that's a good thing, because I do think standards for games have risen, and having relatively high standards for what you spend your money on is good. But in other ways, people's expectations are bad, because it sometimes feels like people expect games to treat them like they're stupid. Like they are children or have no knowledge of the outside world, to practically, or in some cases literally, play itself for them, to make it so that failure is impossible. And all of these things are really bad. It shouldn't feel like it's insurmountable or you can't get into a game. But for God's sake, if a game plays itself for you, you can literally go AFK for an hour and come back and still be doing the same thing and you're fine. That's not a video game. That's a screensaver. At that point, what you're doing is quote unquote playing a screensaver. And I say this as someone who enjoyed RuneScape, which had a lot of very AFK-able things, where I could treat it as a social platform and talk with people. But at the same time, there was still stuff to do in RuneScape. I still had to be there. I could probably go AFK for a little bit. I couldn't go away for an hour and come back to a bunch of loot. And yeah, there are a lot of anti-consumer things in modern games as well, which unfortunately I don't think is getting better. I think is getting worse. And yes, Hawkblade, you need a wallet as your controller for those games. Haven't played Rotato. Have heard good things about it, though.
Angry invader. This way, Exile.
On the one hand, I agree with you, Noah, and I do think a lot of expectations come from companies mistreating players. At the same time, some people are also just really dumb. And I don't know how to fix that. Because I've seen people who get upset at things like saying, oh, all the drama around Overwatch 2, that, oh, Overwatch 2 is not a separate game. Like, they never said it was a separate game. That's not on the company. That's on you at that point. There were definitely things to get mad about in terms of Overwatch, like how the monetization was a downgrade, but it not being a separate game, which got way too much attention, that's on you. They never said it was a separate game. As for Grim Dawn versus Wolcen, Wolcen is garbage. So definitely Grim Dawn. Speaking of games that had anti-consumer practices, Wolcen is a perfect example of what you should not do with your Kickstarter game. And in terms of Star Citizen, that's a tough one. Because on the one hand, they've raised a lot of money and spent a lot of time developing something which is still an alpha demo. But on the other hand, I've heard from people who play the alpha that they enjoy what's been done. And so, I don't know if that's just giga sunk cost fallacy. And people are enjoying it because they have to justify their purchases. Or if what they have done is legitimately good. And if it's just sunk cost fallacy, then that's terrible. That is a company abusing stuff. But if this isn't the full project, because the project is really ambitious, but what is there is really good and exactly what players want, then yeah, nothing wrong with that. Again, I don't know the split on that. I haven't looked into it enough. Could easily be very, very bad. Also, if you do check out Grim Dawn, I have tips and tricks for new players from my about 100 hours experience playing Grim Dawn that you might want to look at as well. I don't know if it's officially the most expensive game ever made or not. There have been some really big and unfortunately mostly flops recently, like Marvel's Avengers, that cost a ton of money. Yeah, No Man's Sky is an interesting one, because that also was an example of what not to do in a early access / crowdfunded, etc. Or I think in their case it was pre-orders. Except the devs didn't do that through malice. Or even necessarily incompetence. They had a very ambitious project, and it's true they weren't able to deliver on it initially. From everything I've heard, though, it's genuinely everything that they promised it would be and more now. In terms of anti-consumer and Diablo 4's pay to play extra on release, no, unfortunately, that's not the worst. It's very bad, but I have seen worse. And by worse, I mean I've seen what Korean games do, which is where that monetization model came from. Well, good luck, Lupus. It's definitely anti-consumer, Noah, because a lot of people will feel like they need to pay for it, and they absolutely don't need to pay for it. Yep, and that's why Blizzard's doing it, because Lost Ark got away with it. I do think with PoE there are extra concerns to think about, because PoE provides a competitive economic environment. Oh, yeah. If you've played a lot of Chinese and Korean games, Noah, I can absolutely see why you'd be like, oh, that's normal. That's not a big deal. Because it is so much worse. I've never lived in Asia, but I have played a fair number of Korean games and a couple of Chinese games. And yeah, there's some absolutely egregious practices that are way too normalized there. Another game which I've been kind of following the development of, and it's kind of funny because I don't even play it, that looks like it's doing their early access right, is Satisfactory. I'm really not doing anything special in terms of my map sustain. I'm just kind of doing maps. I think it gets dismissed as a cultural thing, but if you look at Iron Mace Studios, where they're specifically, or they potentially were, that's a whole other story. But Iron Mace, as part of their mission, specifically said they want to push back on the pay to win. And so even if it may in fact be more culturally accepted, not everyone likes it. Ooh, 15 Vol Orbs. That's the first one I've gotten in a while. And yeah, targeting whales is also not a good thing. There's a lot of talk about what makes monetization good or bad, and it's kind of a nebulous, difficult to talk about topic. I got my Divine from Oba's Curse Trove. It just randomly dropped while I was doing it for Atlas completion. So, monetization in games. What is pay to win, what isn't pay to win, etc. And there's a lot of, all right, we're going to draw the line here. And then later the line gets moved over there. Or people are concerned that the line is going to get moved. Etc. And the way I always look at it is, does the monetization interfere with your gameplay experience? And if so, how? To use PoE as an example, does PoE's monetization model interfere with your gameplay experience? Well, if you look at it from the strict play the game for free, pay $0 at all, versus paying some dollars, the argument could be made yes. But then let's reframe that to a slightly more reasonable frame of mind. I don't think it's a reasonable assumption to say a game should just be fully freely available with the level of ongoing development that PoE gets. So now it's, all right, you spend a reasonable amount of money. Let's say $40, the cost of a AA game. Does PoE's monetization interfere with your gameplay experience after you've spent $48? Or, sorry, 40, not 48. And in that case, I would say no. For about 40 bucks, you can get all of the premium stash tabs that you need to hold items. So PoE is a game with around a $40 price tag and an unlimited free trial. After that point, no, its monetization does not interfere with your gameplay experience. So it's not a pay-to-win game. Whereas if I look at something, oh, let's pick something a little bit more egregious, Arcage. Arcage definitely interferes with your gameplay experience. if you don't pay money and don't continue to pay money. So Arcade would, yes, be a pay-to-win game. The other thing I see a lot is that pay-to-win and good are a permanent dichotomy. Unfortunately, Genshin Impact exists. Which, when I first started playing it, I was like, oh, this doesn't seem very pay-to-win. And then I played it more, and I was like, oh, actually, they just hide their pay-to-win very well. Genshin Impact is pay-to-win. It's also a good game, which is really unfortunate. Diablo Immortal, on the other hand, did not hide anything. That is the opposite of hiding things. And yes, extremely aggressively, one might even say violently, pay-to-win. And maximum life recoup. There isn't really a maximum. I don't think you can get much over 200%. But in theory, if you stacked all the sources of life recoup, you could get about 200% of damage taken recouped as life. I would say anyone who claims that this is pay to win because the colors change when I get low life is at that point grasping for straws and should probably just go play something that makes them happy. Genshin is pay to win, even though you can clear the hardest content for free, because it constantly pushes you to spend money by degrading your experience through a resin system and through tuning the Spiral Abyss around the newest banners. It is designed to push you to spend money continually, therefore, it is a pay-to-win game. You definitely don't have to, but the game very much makes you feel bad for not doing it. The best thing about playing this build when doing lab, I don't care about the traps. They do stop me from moving, and that's all. That's also why I tie pay to win to the gameplay experience, as opposed to things like hard locking content or any other things like that, which can often be used to defend. Yes, Genshin does give more power, because a C6 character, or Constellation 6, is a stronger version of the same character. Then the other thing, the resin system, is how much you can play daily to progress your character power. And the more you pay, up until a limit, the more you can play to progress your character power, versus just playing, I guess you could say, for fun. I've never played Silk Road Online, but I heard it was pretty notorious, yeah. And in terms of microtransactions and stuff, it's really dangerous to just say this is fine. It's equally dangerous to use the argument that Len is in chat to say anything that is not purely cosmetic negatively impacts gameplay. Do character slots in PoE negatively impact gameplay? And if so, how do character slots negatively impact gameplay or make PoE a worse game to play?
See this? Farewell. Well done. Now be a good assistant and find a place to deploy a tower.
Also, the other question is, let's go to the opposite end here
Going to build a tower, as I've so kindly requested.
and say, what if PoE didn't sell stash tabs, but the game costs you $40 now?
Please do not test my limits. Patience is not something I possess great quantities of.
Would PoE be more or less popular? Spoiler alert, the answer is less. And so sometimes having microtransactions in a game, but giving people a free trial, i.e. releasing a free-to-play game, is in fact a good thing. It makes the game better and more accessible. That is also a really difficult thing, though, because you have to trust the developer. When it comes to a lot of games, it gets to a point where you say, yes, I do trust the developer, or no, I don't trust the developer. And if the answer is no, you should probably stop playing. And if the answer is yes, then when something new comes out that you don't necessarily like, take it in good faith first. See, wait a minute, is it actually as bad as I think it is? Or is it maybe not as bad as I think it is? Oh. Yeah, way too spooky. Shouldn't have done that. Yeah, there's a lot to consider. Very often discussions around monetization become very overly reductive. Probably because it's very easy on the internet to go, this thing sucks and I hate it. It's bad. And very difficult to look at the actual impact of things. And for example, would PoE be around if it wasn't free to play with stash tabs? I feel pretty comfortable in saying no, it wouldn't be around. Now, I'm not 100% sure. I'm not sure if even Chris Wilson knows the answer to that. But I think it's safe to say it is much harder for a game like PoE to exist if it doesn't have something that functions as a box price that almost every player who plays for a while will buy. Thanks for stopping by and have a good night. Glad you enjoyed. Conversation's been good today. Because another part of the systems that abuse players usually mean paying more gives you better results. Ultimately, there's only so much money you can spend on stash tabs in PoE before it doesn't matter. You will run out of things to put in them, or you will run out of the ability to properly manage them. But if tomorrow I spent $1,000 on stash tabs, A, what went wrong in my life that I'm spending $1,000 on PoE stash tabs? I probably need help at that point. And B, it would not give me any tangible advantage over what I have right now. If anything, it would be pay to lose, because my stash tabs would take so much longer to load with that many. And I know the argument about this MTX was brought up. Sure, you could argue because it changes color when you reach low life. Maybe there's an advantage there. That assumes that you can see and pay attention to the color change in the visual mess that is Path of Exile better than the health globe down here. I don't know about other people, but I definitely can't. Like right now, I can see my health bar going down way easier than I could see the aura going RGB. Okay, I leveled up, which means I can go back and mess with all the stuff that killed me earlier. Where was it? Most important stash tabs. Currency, map, fragment. And then ideally 2 premium. But for the premium, you can actually, instead of buying premium tabs, upgrade your base tabs to premium. Oh my god, this does so much damage. Stop it. No? Okay, fine. Oh, it was Soul Eater. No wonder it hurts so much. I think for a lot of people, a quad tab doesn't really matter that much. If you play a lot, it's absolutely great. For what I'd call the average use case, though, having a few more premium tabs so you can differentiate prices is going to be more important than having the quad. Yes, if you're farming something specific like essences, it is easier to store them in the essence tab. I want to swap to this. Kinda. But... I could craft cold res as a suffix, actually. Nice off colors. There we go. To be honest with you, the thing... Wait. Oh, that already had cold res on it. Right. Can I get away with this then? I don't have the right Chaos Hybrid. That's unfortunate. Have a good night, and thanks for stopping by. But I can add cold res here. So yes, I can get away with this. Yeah, good luck. Also, if you're going to play this build, or if you're going to play RF in general, be sure to get subscribed. I'll be releasing a... I don't know if I'll call it tips and tricks, what I learned leveling RF, something along those lines video very soon. Just going over some things which, I don't know, maybe they're intuitive to other people and not to me, or maybe you don't know about them either, that I've learned over the past couple days. I'm definitely not risking that. Do I want the Fire Mastery? Yeah, I want the Fire Mastery. The other question, can I drop any links anywhere? Yes, because I was just leveling up this ink AoE. I didn't actually need it. That I need. Well, need is maybe a strong word. That I want. Need. Maybe. I don't know. What? How much does this cost? 11 mana? Yeah, I need it. I don't want to have to worry about mana costs on that. This is definitely the way to go. So, double red. Wait, why am I doing it this way? This is the way to do it? 2 red sockets. Perfect. Flammability, Golem. This here. Defiance Banner. I think I can fit Defiance Banner in. Oh yeah, 67 mana. It's almost a nice amount of mana.
Justice will prevail.
Time to do Eternal Lab and get a whole bunch of tankiness. I mean, even just this. Up we go. Oh, it's going to be one of the zigzaggy ones. Zigzaggy labs are not my favorite, I'm going to be honest. I love just existing in lab traps. Jugg for the win. Oh, zigzag into door. The lab hates me today. Don't worry, the feeling is definitely mutual. What's in here? Curious lockbox. Do I remember how to do this? Let's see if I remember. I did. Cool. Hi. I have found all the dead ends, I hope. Automating my flasks is definitely something I should work on soon. Probably as soon as I break into red maps. Because having the extra flask uptime will just be real nice. This is also probably the point where I should stop just YOLOing it and see what other people are doing. But I don't know, the YOLOing's been working. Up this way. Oh, not around this way. I should have known that. On this build, you have so much time before traps kill you. It's real nice.
Key. There must be a golden door.
You know, for once I haven't found the golden door before I found the entrance to the key. That probably means it's over here, right? Maybe. Or down. Might be down there too. Oh, nope, I was right.
Day dawn, golden with possibility.
And there was only one.
The weary traveler draws close to the end of the path. Slowness lends strength to one's.
This is gargoyles, so I don't really need to care about them. I just... Oh, wait, nope. Not. Never mind, not gargoyles. Ooh.
Loyalty.
Okay. Never mind. Do actually need to care.
Such resilience. Wisdom.
Letting him leap on me there was calculated because I didn't think it would kill me, but it hurt more than I was expecting. And lever number 3. Ugh. Max out weapons for... Why? Ah, it's so dumb. That's the sort of stuff that it probably doesn't actually make your gameplay experience worse, assuming they didn't rebalance from the original. But it's so dumb. Yeah, did it rebalance the game around them, though? Because if it did, that's a huge problem. Especially if it's hard to get the original non-remade version. If it didn't, and it's just, oh, you can spend money to make your game less fun and fulfilling, it's still stupid. But I guess, in that case, not harmful at least. Although, again, that one definitely is in the category of, do you trust the devs? Because if you trust the devs and you go, oh no, they won't make the gameplay... Yeah, in that case, if you trust them to not make it worse in the future because those microtransactions exist, it's whatever. It doesn't affect your gameplay experience. It affects the gameplay experience of, I don't know, someone who wants to play a Resident Evil game but then not enjoy playing the game because they trivialize it. That's weird. Even if it's not harmful, that's just weird. Oh, Shikari touched rare somewhere here. Goodbye.
When the time comes to strike, an emperor strikes without hesitation. The emperor better entertain the world is the tense and set.
Ooh.
Show me your resolve.
Yeah, which is also scummy. That they should have been in from the start. Yeah. Definitely makes it harder to trust them.
Such resilience.
Well, I guess that portal's just gonna live. It's fine though, I have plenty of damage.
Empire remains filled with emperors in waiting.
Should be fine. And knowing that it's after the reviews on the game went out, that definitely makes it worse in my mind. Even if it was just an accident or a coincidence. That makes me immediately think, what are they hiding? Sometimes it is just an accident. Sometimes the feature just wasn't ready and there's nothing nefarious. Other times, it's absolutely nefarious. And now we're going into the last Azaro after this. A lot of spinny blade traps. Oh, Aspen's Trial. Perfect.
An aspirant can afford to be promising. An emperor must navigate your empire through troubled waters. Stay the course.
Yeah.
Tyranny is
Easy.
inescapable.
Don't think that'll sell for anything, but you never know. Divine Font, Wintertide Brand, Dom Blow, Infernal Blow, Avoid being stunned. None of those really help. And Unbreakable. So now I really need a different chess piece. Really need a chess piece of armor now. All right, this is Valyrium. Wrong ring. But there we go. Uber Lab done. Was pretty easy. Exactly as I'd expect on an RF Jugg. Question is, am I gonna drop a T10 map? Or am I gonna drop a T11 map? So far, RF Jugg has been really smooth to progress. I still find it funny that at one point, GGG was actually considering having Chris do a hot tub reveal. They ultimately didn't do it, and I think it is very unfortunate. And the perfect time would have been for Crucible, because they could have had the reveal on April 1st. They could have had the reveal on April 1st and done it from a hot tub. All right, let's do that. Let's just go with a little teeny one. Yes, they were. Back when the whole hot tub meta on Twitch was the thing everyone was talking about. I still think it would have been hilarious.
Hail!
Okay, well, right now, since I'm zooming... I know, right? They're considering it for, I think, 318? Maybe 319. I have an excellent Crucible passive on my shield right now. Oh. 1 second. Let me deal with this boss. Oh my god, stop channeling on me, Maven. Now they're both over here now. Oh. The Maven makes this fight so annoying. And she's dead. Cool. So, what I have is 30 to max life, increased armor, evasion, and energy shield. This is local to the shield, with reduced reflected damage taken, global mod, and 80 to dex, gain no inherent bonuses from dexterity. I don't really gain anything from dex anyway. Accuracy doesn't affect me, and I don't have any relevant level of evasion rating. So this is just 80 dex completely for free, which is really good for my build. And I could have also gone down here for 30% reduced extra damage from crits, which would make it very easy to become crit immune. Do I want to go this way? This would be 1, 2, 3, 4 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But this gets me here, which is then 1, 2 to over here, which I can then use to loop through up and around this way. So yeah, I think I go down here. I would also love a similar int node, because the stat nodes offer a ton of versatility for builds that don't actually benefit from the normal modifiers associated with those stats. Oh, really? Okay, this thing is anti-everything my build does. I should have probably read that. Oh, you could maybe look into that. I don't know if you can stack enough totem life anymore for that to be relevant, though. Totem life has been nerfed very significantly due to the existence of forbidden right totems. Oh, nice. Can't complain about currency.
This way, Exile. Don't let him make a mess.
Mm. I should have probably checked the map mods. Oh, there we go. Monsters have elemental resistance. I was wondering why this was taking so long. Yeah, they're resistant to my damage. That would do it. Reading is hard, by the way. Mm. And there's just another... Okay, good. It's not fire resistant. As long as it's not fire resistant. Yep, I'm definitely going to be playing Diablo 4. For how long? I don't know. But I'm definitely going to be playing it when it comes out. I already played the beta a bit. There were definitely things to like, and there were definitely things to dislike. For example, the story was presented really, really well, as was the world. But the dungeon experience got repetitive very quickly, and I'm concerned it doesn't change at all in the endgame. Is that the case? We'll see. Just gonna have to wait for it to come out and judge it fairly for what it is when it does. But also, one thing that I very much noticed was how many people were talking about PoE and saying they are a brand new player after the Diablo 4 beta. So even if D4 ends up being a game that I don't enjoy at all, that most people who play PoE don't enjoy at all, I'm very glad it exists, because it's gonna bring way more people into the genre. Also, goddammit, Valor Mage, why is that sound? Okay, after this, I definitely have to customize my own loot filter. And possibly yell at Valor Mage. Okay, hold still, please. No? Oh, I had RF off that. That explains it. I was like, why is this all painful? Because I zoned and RF turned off. That would definitely explain it. Yeah, that drop was not that interesting for the sound it made, unfortunately. But oh well. The logbook's what should have made the sound. That's the interesting one. With that said, I'm going to get going here. I need to go make dinner, and the stream has been live for a bit. I hope you've enjoyed, and maybe I'll see you again sometime soon. If you like the gameplay or want to know more about the build, do be sure to get subscribed. If you've been watching from the beginning, I believe the YouTube rules say you're obligated to leave a like. And if you just caught the stream and want to go back and check what the rest was like, don't worry, the VOD will be available on my channel. Well, be it Never Sink or Balor, I will yell at someone. Because, oh my god, that should not be making that noise. That said, thank you to everyone who tuned in. I hope you enjoy. Hope your league starts... I was going to say going well, but I guess we're maybe past that. I hope your league start is still going well. That feels